Look at this little guy. All the magic of the world still ahead of him. He just exudes a sense of innocent wonder. What could possibly be out there that would corrupt such a beautiful young mind as this? But boom! How about Down syndrome Onlyfans models?
What the hell are you? No! No! No!
Now, I won't sink so low as to comment on the fact that this young child is wearing a Paw Patrol shirt as he is mobbed by a pack of wild dogs. Not when there are clearly more pressing issues to address. Yes, Down syndrome thirst traps. Breathe that in, deep. Let that thought sink into your bones and metastasize like an illness born of all the darkness that festers behind the sickest minds that modernity has birthed into the hellscape of social media. Now, when I first laid eyes on these women, I didn't exactly know what to think.
God help us all.
Girls have been exhibiting themselves on social media for nearly 2 decades at this point. And if they want to sexualise themselves, well, there ain't no stopping them. As the times, they have changed, my friends. But I was still hopeful that maybe we didn't live in a world where a genetic disorder in which the presence of an extra chromosome leading to delayed physical development, along with mild to moderate intellectual disability, is fetishised. But alas, here we stand, faced with the last remnants of human dignity as they wither and die under the burning sun of hedonistic desperation. We have truly left no stone unturned. Every line will be crossed, every taboo shattered. Our collective self-respect has been dragged into the back of a van and beaten to death as we all just watched.
First one that follows us gets shot.
Okay, Roger that. You drive safe.
And did nothing to stop it. What the fuck have we become? I mean, people, you know, just gross. So, attractive Down syndrome girls have begun posting on social media, which all have links to their OnlyFans. And you don't need me to tell you that OnlyFans, in brackets, models, come in all shapes and sizes. They're furry, scaly, small, big, skinny, but developmentally challenged? Well, that's a new one. But see, honestly, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to stand. How do I feel about this? Am I allowed to feel the way I actually feel? Am I allowed to be angry? I at least have the right to feel disappointment, right? And not just disappointment in the girls. Maybe disappointment in our collective species.
Why do I love Funko Pops? Well, I guess it's because I love pop culture.
Jesus
And
Christ.
if there's anything that epitomizes pop culture, it's Funko Pops.
But since, you know, I'm not a complete fucking idiot, I looked a little closer at some of these accounts, and fuck me with a frozen shit. They're all fake. And so I have my answer. I am most certainly allowed to be angry about this. What unwashed, fettered, hive-ridden mind thought it would be a good idea to fake Down syndrome in order to lure men to their OnlyFans accounts? I mean, seriously. Now, firstly, let me show you how I know these are all fake. I don't want to bury the lead here, so here we go. Now, the first thing to notice with this video, Exhibit A, as we'll call it, is that when her face is 90 degrees to the camera, there's an edit. She cuts the turn. Now, the reason for this is because AI facial mapping software, the way it works is it's looking for anchor points on the face. So that would be both eyes, each side of the nose, the corners of the mouth, sometimes even the chin and maybe the cheekbones, but mostly it's those 3 points: eyes, nose, mouth. Now, when one half of those anchor points is obscured, as in you've turned 90 degrees, the map can't quite find the structure and it doesn't map on correctly and simply just switches off, glitches out. because it's not recognizing a complete face. So there we have it. She edits out those 90-degree points. Now again, this alone wouldn't be proof, but I have a smoking gun, and let me show you. Now here is another video from the same account, and as you can see, she turns one way, she doesn't edit that out, and she turns the other way, but she edits that one out. Now there's a very good reason for that. Now let me show you a still frame, one singular frame that I found. Now, what do you think of that? Does that to you look like the same person? To me, well, no, it doesn't, because it's not. Now again, maybe you could say I was reaching, but I don't think so. That to me looks like a completely different woman, totally different facial structure. Now, let me show you some more, because if this was all I had, then I'd be a fucking idiot and you could execute me. But let's continue. Now, aside from the debauched caption, my boyfriend left me because my kitten was too tight. Would that bother you? Jesus. Well, the only thing of note here are the first few frames. Now, let me just quickly show you a snapshot. Here we go. Now to me, something looks very off about this image. The shading around the nose, it looks, well, almost imprinted. It looks almost painted on. It doesn't quite look authentic. The teeth, they don't look right. You can only see the front two. Again, strange. But the one thing, the dead giveaway to me, is look at the eyes. Look at both irises, okay? They're not completely circular, as they should be. And the bottom eyelid doesn't quite map around the iris as it should. It looks like it's curved or warped almost. That is literally because the face is at a strange angle, so the mapping software hasn't quite mapped on correctly yet. Now as you can see, when she pulls back she looks fine, but close up at the upwards angle, it doesn't quite work. It can't quite find the face correctly. Now you might not think that's the strongest of evidence. It's not exactly the bloody handprint on the murder weapon or CCTV footage of them putting a gun against the back of a child's head and just pulling the trigger until the gun goes click. But with everything else, it all just adds up. Now let me show you some more, because again, if this was all I had, then yeah, you could slap me around the face and call me a fucking moron. But let me keep going. Let me take you further down this rabbit hole. Now here, another video from the same account, and all I want you to look at here is the chin. Okay, look at how the light glows around the bottom of the chin. Now I'm not an image expert, and I'm certainly not a lighting technician, but I know that when light is coming from above, it doesn't light the underneath. If you were to shine a light on a table, the underside of the table wouldn't glow. That's insane. Exactly as we have here. The underside of the chin, the reason it is glowing like that is because the light is probably angled at the face. Now the mapping software is mapping onto the face, but it's not quite catching the bottom of the chin. So therefore we have this strange sort of glow, this shimmer under the chin, following the arc of the neck. Now you might be coming up with excuses in your head. I mean, maybe it's just the light reflecting off the tears of the Virgin Mary as she gazes upon what humanity has become. I don't know, some bullshit like that. Now, just to get it out of the way, let me just show you definitive proof, okay? So here we go. Now, I've had to zoom in on this one because, well, she's being very overtly sexual with her hip gyrations and movements, so you've just got the face. Now, watch closely. As the video ends, there's a quick, very, very quick glitch in the face. Did you see it? Well, let me show you a freeze frame. And a boom, there we have it. The face of evil staring back at us. That woman right there does not have Down syndrome. She is faking it for OnlyFans subscriptions. Jesus Christ, what the fuck has our world become? I can't take this anymore. Jesus Christ. That sentence alone just shrunk my heart 3 sizes. I'm like the anti-Grinch. I'm just getting worse. Oh. Now again, this isn't all the proof I have, but this to me is definitive proof that I am, yes, in fact correct. These people are faking a mental disorder, a chromosomal defect for OnlyFans use. Jesus Christ. Let me just show you a few more just to emphasize the point, just to punch it right through. Here we go. Now in this video, just look at the distortion around the hair, around her face, and then when she turns, you can see her chin distends like some kind of weird lying puppet, Chinocchio maybe. But yes, that right there is a face filter, and you can see it plain as day. Again, when she turns to the left, the chin juts out like a shelf on the wall of a liar. And here, Look at the blurring again around the head, around the face. You can see the image is warped just slightly. And once again, when she turns, the chin just weirdly distends. Again, that is the facial filter glitching out because it's trying to map and it just can't. Now, this one should be very obvious, plain as day. I mean, quite simply, her mouth is broken. It just doesn't seem to make any sense. Again, it's the facial filter not being able to correctly map a moving mouth. There's also the fact that she also now has several hundred tattoos that she didn't have in the previous few videos, but you know, whatever, I don't really care anymore. So yes, there we go. There is my evidence, my proof that these women, or whomever it may be that is running these accounts, are simply using facial filters to fake Down syndrome, to funnel views and funnel subscriptions to Onlyfans, to siphon money from men based on the fact they have a chromosomal disorder.
Wow, you would really do that. You would really do that!
You just can't fake Down syndrome.
Why?
What do you mean, why? You just can't.
Why?
Now these predatory succubi are using Down syndrome as a way to bait sympathy from mostly older, perhaps lonely, desperate men. And the thought that these girls are somehow inferior due to their unfortunate genetic disorder makes them appear more attainable, because the men they prey upon are not, well, let's say, genetically gifted. Or perhaps their social ineptitude has left them languishing in a dark hovel ridden with various goon materials as they salivate over any girl above a 4 out of 10. Or perhaps they're in their late 50s, belittled daily by a wife with an ass like a beanbag propped up with a pair of crutches, and tits that resemble a lump of pancake batter slapped against the wall. Now, when someone as lowly and pathetic as that,
would you like to know how badly I want to have sex with a girl?
It's all I've been able to think about.
stumbles over a girl with a body as curvy as a slip and slide, and yet all they talk about is how men just won't give them a chance due to their genetic wheel of fortune landing on red. Well, these men, their lonely little eyes light up like the North Star, and they navigate their way right into these girls' DMs, where they are, well, pushed towards an Onlyfans account with the promise of exclusive content and personalised messages just for them. It's an alluring offer, wouldn't you say? Well, maybe not to you or me, but then we're not quite scraping the bottom of that shit-stained barrel, are we? Well, not yet anyway. But for these guys, all they see is a girl with a much smaller dating pool, and therefore they see themselves as having a far greater chance at hooking that white whale and hauling it into their arms. Now, when I found several dozen dwarf accounts on Instagram that also linked back to OnlyFans, which led to the subsequent discovery that they were all in fact AI generated, I really thought that that was currently as low as we had sunk. But
No! No, 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 no!
there is a deeper layer of hell. You see, I can at least assume that all of those dwarf thirst traps are run by one man, or perhaps a group of men, a small group hopefully, but these girls, well, they're all using a fucking face filter. So they are all individual women who have decided to fake having Down syndrome in order to siphon money from men who would maybe otherwise look over them for the slightly hotter girl. But with Down syndrome, they have a unique angle. They found a gap in the market, and they're more than willing to fill it with this unholy detritus. Now, I hope I'm not alone here when I say that this is so wrong, right? This can't be allowed to continue. I mean, guys, seriously, somewhere down the line, this has to stop, right? How much fucking lower can we go? Well, so far, and I mean this, so far, That pit is fucking bottomless. Goodbye everyone, and God bless.